My name is Doug Beal. Now I am the Chief Executive of USA Volleyball. Yes, I played volleyball for many years, starting when I was very young. I was introduced to volleyball in fourth grade when I was maybe 10 years old. I was very lucky. And I continued to play. I played on our national team when our national team was not very good. And so I have a very long history in our sport. When I played, it was so long ago that most of the players played all the positions, but mostly I was a setter for our national team. Also, because it was so long ago, it was normal in the United States for many players to also organize the team and begin to do some coaching. So officially, I started to coach when I was in the graduate school. Part of my responsibility in school was to work as the coach of a club volleyball team. And so I coached for 1 year while I was studying for a master's degree. And then I changed to another university to study for a doctorate degree, and I began to coach professionally as part of my responsibility. So I was 23 or 24 when I started to coach. Also still playing, so I was very busy with volleyball. Yeah, it's the volleyball situation in the United States was very interesting, I think. We had a good culture for volleyball, but only in some small parts of the United States, mostly in California. It was very popular on the beaches, also very strong in some universities, but no good organization between the universities and the regions of the United States and our federation. And so it was important, I think, for our national team to develop some very strong organization, maybe even a little bit outside the federation, to create some independent structure that the players could depend on, and to give the players some foundation for the team to be successful. For example, we played internationally for many years before 1984, but very, very bad success. In the Olympic Games in Mexico City in 1968, for example, we had some very good players, and in the first match, our team defeated the Soviet Union. So a great victory for us. But then we couldn't perform at a high level for match after match after match. It was very difficult because the organization and the system had no foundation. And so we had one very good performance and then 2 or 3 very bad performances. And so the team finished, I think, 7th or 8th place because we lost a lot of matches to teams not so good as the Soviet Union, but this was the history of volleyball in the United States. Maybe 1 good match and 5 very bad matches. And so when I started to coach, it was easy for me to understand that we needed a program to create some systematic foundation for the national team. So we needed some consistent location for training. We needed some standards that the players could understand. If you want to be part of the national team, you must make some sacrifice. You must commit to being with the national team all the time. It must be a very high priority in your life, or the team cannot be good. It can't be something that you do like recreation. If you want to be serious, if you want the team to be successful, you have to be serious about your participation. I think in the world today, there are many professional leagues. The players receive a lot of salary. It's easy to understand that volleyball is a serious professional sport around the world. But in the 1980s, it wasn't so easy to understand. And for sure in the United States, it was a completely new idea. Eventually, they understood, I think, that yes, that they were very motivated to be good. And it was a very special group of athletes. They were very competitive. And in their own universities, they were very competitive with each other. And so our job was to make them competitive against the Soviet Union, against Bulgaria, against Brazil, against Cuba, and to work together for the United States so that the national team could have success, and it was important. And of course, it was very lucky for us that the United States was going to host the Los Angeles Olympic Games. And so we knew that we would participate in the Olympic Games. We didn't have to qualify. And so we had this very strong motivation to play in the Olympic Games and also to play in the home of most of the players, because many of them from the Los Angeles area. Part of the culture of volleyball in the United States up to that moment was to be very independent, to be more interested in your school or your own personal agenda rather than to be interested to play for the team, to meet the training schedule and the travel schedule and the commitment that was necessary for the team to be good. So we decided that it was important to take this very unique group of athletes outside of the volleyball world into an area where none of them had any experience. All of them are beginners. All of them are nervous. All of them are afraid. And so they have to depend on each other to survive, to be successful, to travel in the mountains in the winter. It's very cold. You live in the snow. And if you will be comfortable, you have to depend on your teammate to work together. And some of the very best players were very bad in the situation in the mountain. And some of the very worst players were very good. And so their perception of each other changed. And they realized that to make the best team, everyone can have an important position. Everyone can play a role. And even if they're not the best player, they can help me because they can push me in the training, or they can see something on videotape to help me because I'm playing all the time. So I should listen to my teammates. And ultimately, a team is great because the players together decide they will pursue excellence together. Maybe the coach can push, but I believe, finally, it's the responsibility of the players together. They must decide. And this group, for sure, decided. And I believe, a big part of that was this experience in the mountains in Utah. Absolutely. It was terrible for me. 3 weeks, 22 days, I think. Yeah, for sure. Many weird stories. Maybe 2 or 3 days after we begin, I'm walking in the snow with very deep snow in snowshoes. It's not so easy for me. And we carry a very heavy pack, maybe 100 pounds or 80 pounds. And I'm walking along the ridge, and I lose my balance, and I fall down about, I don't know, 30 or 40 feet, and tumble and tumble. And some group is near me, and some group is across, maybe 100 meters away. And first, everybody is very quiet because they think maybe I'm hurt very badly, and they start to go down. But I'm okay because the snow is very deep. But it was a moment where they realize that we have to help each other. And so a lot of them come down to carry my pack to get me back up because I'm much older than the players. So this was one very good experience for us. And then we took also two old guys with us, psychologists, even much older than me and the coaches. And one of them couldn't carry very much because small guy and not very strong. And so very soon after we begin, the players help him. They take his weight, his pack, to carry him, help him along. It was a great experience for them. Yeah, I think every player had some different experiences, but it was, for me and the coaches, fantastic experience to bring the team together. And from that point, we played the best volleyball ever. Yeah, we did. I would like to be so smart that I think this up exactly myself. It's not true. Part of it was what we saw in the gym, in the training, every day. This player is fantastic in reception. This player is not so good in reception. Why do we have this player who's not so good in the reception? It was the normal system at that time. And partly I had two very smart assistant coaches who tell me every day, Beal, you are stupid. Why you have this player and this player in reception? The other team serves every ball to him, and they can't pass. So we can receive only with two players, and they can receive everything. Takes me, I don't know, 5 months, 6 months to agree. But finally I listen to the assistant coaches, and we make the change, and also from that moment the team improves a lot. And we begin to think about some specialization in other areas, more than just reception, also for blocking, also for the style of attack. And now it's a very easy idea. We should ask the player to do what they are very good to do, the areas they have the most skill, as much as possible. It's not completely possible to specialize exactly, but to hit second line, to play in the second row where you can dig the most balls, to block against the best players. Most of the teams are doing something like that now, so it's very normal, I think. The group we had from 1980, 81 until 88 was fantastic. Most people, of course, know Karch Karai. He was a remarkable player because, of course, great performance. But for me, Karch, Dusty Dvorak, Pat Powers, even some players that didn't play, Tim Hovland, St. John Smith. The real value of this group together was in the training every day. And many people ask me, what is your best memory about this team? Is it a gold medal in Los Angeles? Of course, that's a great memory. But for me, the best memory is every day in training to see these players fight so hard with each other to win every exercise. Just one drill for 10 minutes. If one team lost, they're so angry they want to play again immediately to win the next drill against this team. And so this was the heart of this team, I think. The games were easy for them. The games were like the frosting on the cake, the candle on the cake. Every day in training, the level was so high that coaching in the match was a pleasure. I didn't have to do anything, hardly.